not exactly. To make a good YouTube video or a deer hunting video, the gear doesn't matter as much as you may think it does. I want to give you probably the best example of this, and that's the hunting beast.
It's going to watch below him, like so. As a lot of you probably know, I don't really believe a lot in the whole scent control mumbo jumbo.
Dan built that channel off of a camera that's probably similar to this right here. This is a Canon Vixia R800. This thing is probably like new $200 at Walmart, and you could probably buy them on eBay now for, I don't know, like maybe $100 or less. So Dan has never used the most high quality fancy gear, but Dan has something that you really can't buy, and that's good storytelling.
It's July 3rd. Tomorrow's Independence Day. So if you hear some explosions or gunfire or crazies on motorcycles and dirt bikes in the background, don't worry. It's just the way us country folk celebrate our freedom.
And no matter how cool your gear is and how awesome your videos look, if you don't have like a good storyline while you're filming your deer hunt, you're not going to be able to make a great hunting video. You need to have, some type of a problem that you're trying to solve. You need to show solving that problem, and then the conclusion is that problem being solved. Usually as a deer hunter, it's usually us like, hey, our problem is we're trying to harvest a deer. Here's all this middle stuff on how we're trying to solve that problem of harvesting the deer, and the ending is harvesting the deer, getting it in the back of the truck, whatever the ending of the story is.
And I looked over and I got my bow up and I drew my bow as he's walking through my opening. I didn't have much of a window, and I shot that bow, and I remember that arrow going right through him and watching it go into the water beyond in the river and the deer bolting. And I just knew I had him.
So keep that in mind whenever you start to film your own deer hunts or make YouTube videos. Just because you have a $2,000 camcorder, you may not be able to make as good of a video as someone that has some good ideas and a little Handycam. The video Operation Indiana that you can see on the Hunting Beast is a great example of what I'm talking about here. Kind of has horrible quality video. We filmed this video with a cheap Handycam, but it has a great storyline with a great beginning, middle, and ending, and therefore people love it. It's one of our highest viewed videos. And probably the most important part about making a good hunting video is just be yourself. You're not Dan Infalt, you're not Aaron Warbritton, you're not Zach Farrenball, you're not, you name it, Michael Waddell. Just be whoever you are. And I think people are more attracted to that kind of a content than someone trying to kind of copycat what others are doing. What I would start with is something like this right here. A cheap Handycam you can get from Walmart. Don't get caught up in all the 4K, this or that. I guarantee you 99% of you don't have a computer that can handle 4K editing, so don't even worry about 4K when you're your first year. Another reason you may want to get a cheapo is, man, there's a lot of people that start filming and realize how difficult it is and give up on it. And you don't want to, go all in on some $2,000 Handycam or even more, and then after a year decide you don't want to do this anymore and you have to sell it for a fraction of what you paid for it. Okay, so now I'm going to talk to you about some of the equipment I use to film my own hunts, and maybe this will help you guys and give you some pointers and tips on how you want to start filming, or if you're already filming, maybe how to continue to improve your filming. The camera I probably use the absolute most as of right now is this little GoPro. GoPros are a great tool for someone trying to start out filming your deer hunt. For one, it has a really wide angle option on the camera that allows you to capture like a big area. Like I could put the camera up here in front of me and you could see this entire room, just like I'm filming this on a $3,000 DSLR setup with a really nice lens, and you can actually, this is a fairly good sized room and you can see the whole thing because I have a high quality lens. But you can accomplish the same thing with this little GoPro. So this right here is why I would recommend anybody getting into filming your deer hunts to get a GoPro. On any GoPro, if you hit this little red button at the top, it automatically starts filming. If you hit it again, it automatically turns off. There's no opening screens, there's no hitting a record button on the side, none of that. It's the most simple camera on the market, in my opinion. This particular one is a GoPro Hero 8 Black. This was a great GoPro. This GoPro, I've had a whole bunch of them, of different models, and this one has by far been the least problematic one. I also have a 10. The image stabilization in the 10 seems to be a lot better, but I'm having like battery problems with it to where every now and again I'll have to take the battery out and put it back in, like it loses connection somehow. So it's kind of a pain in the neck. So if you're starting off, I'd recommend maybe getting this Hero 8 Black and saving you a little bit of money. If you want the absolute best, GoPro just came out with a GoPro Hero 11, which I don't have yet. So I think a good action cam is really crucial. Something else that I like to get with my GoPros are these little doohickeys here. It's just a GoPro little arm, has a clamp on it. You can clamp things on. It's great for doing like vlog type stuff. GoPro mounts right here, and you can face it to you and say something to the camera. You can face it away from you and do a little one of these deals where you're showing people where you're going or whatever you're going to do during the video. And then on top of that, when you get into the stand, you can use it as a second angle. Either clamp it on something up in the tree. Whenever the deer comes in, hit that button one time, turns it on automatically, films everything you're doing. You can also, wear one of the mounts on your head, and that'll allow you to kind of film whatever you're looking at. So you'd be surprised at how much of my footage is shot right here on this little GoPro. All right, second option for really good cameras that I've had a lot of success with if you want a quality product. This is a Sony AX33. This is a great camera. Not this particular one. This one's broken, but this model was a really good model that Sony came out with. Now they have the 53 and the 73, I believe. I'm not real sure like the differences in each of the model. I know like the other ones have more zoom capability. I think this is only a 10x zoom, but this is a really good camera, especially if you can find one used on eBay or something. It's a really good option. Going even farther up, kind of on the price scale, this is what I use currently. It's the AX100. They also have another model of this. I think it's called the AX700 now. But this is a super good video camera. Essentially what you're paying for here is this camera has a 1-inch sensor, whereas this one has a smaller sensor in it. What's that mean? It means you can film in low light better with this Sony AX100 versus the 53. So depends what you want. If you don't mind having a little grainy footage during low light conditions, you can get you something like this. If something you need something really good in low light, you can get you one of these AX100s or 700s or whatever they are. Canon makes a great camera too. They like the G series, the G50, G whatever else. Just if you're going to spend that much money on a camera, make sure you have at least a 1-inch sensor to get that really good low light footage. To go any even farther, and this is something you have to get really serious about, but next step would be like some type of a mirrorless DSLR. There are some good affordable options, like the Canon N50 was a really good camera that I kind of learned on, and now you can see here I'm filming on this DSLR, which is the Fujifilm X-T4. To get a setup like this, though, you're talking thousands and thousands of dollars, and then on top of that, you have to have interchangeable lens that costs thousands of dollars. So I wouldn't go down that rabbit hole right off the bat. They're also a little more complicated to use than a typical Handycam. So that's what I would recommend kind of as your first camera, maybe staying away from the DSLRs and all that stuff. You can do beautiful things with these DSLRs or the SLRs, mirrorless cameras, but they are a lot more complicated and can intimidate someone trying to learn all this stuff for the first time. All right, so now let's get into some accessories that I use a lot and I recommend for deer hunters. The first First one that I think is really, really important is maybe getting you some type of a remote that controls your camera. This one's a Sony one that's compatible with Sony cameras, and you can zoom with it. You can turn the camera on and off. You can turn the recording button on and off with this. It's just really handy to have right on your tripod or your camera arm real quick. Whenever you're trying to do something, deer move or whatever, you can get to this remote a lot quicker than functions on your camera itself. And it just makes everything kind of in one little area, so you're not doing a lot of movement on your camera when it comes to zooming in, zooming out, and hitting the record button. So I like a good remote, and the different manufacturers of cameras make different remotes. You have to look it up on Google or ask someone that knows more than I do about it. Probably the next most important thing other than your camera is a whole bunch of extra batteries. I carry 2 extra batteries for whatever cameras I have on me when I'm deer hunting, and you'll eat a bunch of battery, especially like on some of the GoPros. The battery life's not that great. A camcorder, what's nice about a camcorder is you can typically get really big extendable batteries that has a really long battery life to them, and you can just see kind of it's practical. GoPro battery, a camcorder battery, they're quite a bit bigger, quite a bit more amp hours in these batteries. So get you a whole bunch of extra batteries. You can buy them actually pretty cheap on like aftermarket batteries from Amazon and whatnot. So I've never had any real bad problems with those types of batteries. The aftermarket ones, obviously, if you can afford the name brand ones, like if you got a Sony camera, buy a Sony battery. But just for backup batteries, I think the knockoff ones from whatever they're Castar or whatever they're called, they work good enough. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about just some audio stuff. The audio in these typical Handycams, they're okay. They're not great. If you really want to step up your game on the audio side, you can get yourself a lav mic, is what this is called. This is just a battery powered lav mic. This is made by Sennheiser. XSW is what this is called. Essentially, you plug this into your camera. You got this little lav mic you can hang right here, and then everybody can hear you whispering whenever you're deer hunting. So it's a good option. Not needed, especially if you're just filming for yourself or for your family and friends. Not gonna put it on YouTube. Maybe audio is not as important, but audio really does make a big difference in the quality of your video. Something like this will probably run you about $200. Okay, and finally, another good option for audio is a shotgun mic, which I have on this camera right here. The one I have is a Audio Technica. I'm not sure the model number, but there's a couple other really good options that I think I would have chose over this one if I had to do it again. And I really like the Rode Video Mic Pro Plus. The reason I like the Plus one, the audio is great on it, but the feature I really like about it is when you turn your camera on, the mic automatically powers on, and when you turn your camera off, the mic automatically powers off. Whereas mine, I have to turn it on and off, and sometimes you forget to turn it on, and then you have crappy audio. Sometimes you forget to turn it off, and then you end up draining your battery on your mic. So that's the one I would get if I had to choose one. There's other ones that are good quality as well, but that's what I would recommend. And now for my honorable mention for cameras that you may want to look into. This is a Sony ZV-1. This thing's kind of built for the YouTuber, the vlogger, someone filming deer hunts, in my opinion. It's a super compact little camera. You can see it fits right here in my hand. It doesn't have much of a zoom range. I think it goes up to 700 millimeters, which is like 3x, 4x zoom, something like that. You can buy an adapter to make it a super wide angle lens that gives you kind of that GoPro look, if you know what I mean, just a wide angle where you're shooting a lot of your surroundings so people can kind of see where you're at and what you're kind of trying to portray in the area. But this is my first year using this, so I don't really want to recommend it just yet. But spec wise, it does seem like a really good option if you kind of want a one camera that can do all types of different things for you. Another honorable mention that's kind of fun is a little drone. This is just a DJI Mini 2. Not necessary, but they are fun to use for B-roll and flying them around and taking cool videos and photos. Remember, camera gear don't matter. Go out there, tell a good story with the camera you have, and I think you'll be surprised at how cool your videos turn out. All right, see you guys later.